Good, happy Thursday evening. I'm Riley King, and welcome to this Thursday evening edition of the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. Let's begin. We have a lot of news coverage to get to this Thursday evening. First up, President Biden makes bold policy promises in first speech to Congress. Let's take a listen to that video from NBC News.
Tonight, I'll be eating a pork banh mi with extra jalapenos. Thanks, baby. Yeah, we about to get spicy for this virtual day.
Spicy like them pajama pants.
Hey, the camera is staying up here. This is not the second date.
Madam Speaker, the President of the United States.
President Biden's first address to Congress, unlike any in modern history. With just 200 people in the House chamber instead of the usual 1,600. All of them masked and socially distanced. After a year of crisis, the president's message clear. America is making a comeback.
After just 100 days, I can report to the nation, America is on the move again.
Mr. Biden touting progress in the fight against COVID.
Go get vaccinated, America.
The president also laying out his ambitious agenda, calling for trillions of dollars in new spending to boost the economy, including his American Families Plan featuring universal pre-K, tuition-free community college, and expanded tax credits for childcare, and delivering a sales pitch for his plan to overhaul America's infrastructure with a price tag of more than $2.2 trillion.
The American Jobs Plan is a blue-collar blueprint to build America.
Along with the $1.9 trillion COVID relief package passed without a single Republican vote, it amounts to nearly $6 trillion in spending. President Biden saying it will be paid for by raising taxes on corporations and the wealthy. Republicans saying it's too much government interference and spending.
Think about how much money he is spending.
This was a frightening speech.
I believe what I propose is fair, fiscally responsible.
The president also calling on Congress to pass a wide array of legislation, including immigration reform, voting rights, a $15 minimum wage, and the police reform bill named after George Floyd.
We have to come together to rebuild trust between law enforcement and the people they serve, to root out systemic racism in our criminal justice system, and to enact police reform in George Floyd's name.
Hear me clearly. America is not a racist country.
Tim Scott, the Senate's only black Republican delivering the GOP response, blasting the president's agenda, calling it a liberal wish list of big government waste, and slamming Democrats as divisive.
We need policies in progress that brings us closer together. But 3 months in, the actions of the president and his party are pulling us further and further apart.
At the start of his speech, President Biden noting the history-making moment, with two women sitting behind him on the dais for the first time ever.
Thank you all, Madam Speaker, Madam Vice President. No president has ever said those words from this podium. No president has ever said those words, and it's about time.
As we mentioned, President Biden will be hitting the road today after we get the chance to sit down with him exclusively here at the White House. The president traveling to Atlanta for a drive-in rally to start pushing his plan to voters. Also on the agenda while he's there in Georgia, a special trip to Plains, Georgia. He's going to be visiting with former President Jimmy Carter and his wife Rosalind, who were unable to make that trip here to Washington for the Biden inauguration. Of course, as you know, Savannah, the two men have known each other for decades. It was a young Senator Biden who was the first to endorse Jimmy Carter back in 1976.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube.
Okay, and there you go on that video. And that report. Judge denies request for release of videos in Andrew Brown Jr. shooting. Let's take a listen to that video from NBC News.
Did you know you can cook pizzas in just 60 seconds? You heard that right. Introducing...
Say his name! Andrew Brown!
Protests overnight again in Elizabeth City, North Carolina. Police moving in to disperse crowds, arresting demonstrators for violating a citywide curfew. As the judge has now ruled,
the court orders as follows.
The Pasquotank Sheriff's 4 body cams and 1 dash cam recorded when officers shot and killed 42-year-old Andrew Brown will not be released publicly for at least 30 days.
Confidentiality is necessary to protect either an active internal criminal investigation or a potential internal criminal investigation.
Andrew Brown's family will be allowed to watch the videos sooner. His 92-year-old grandmother.
Would you like to see that video?
Yes, I would.
Would you like the public to see that video?
Yes, I would.
Why?
Then everybody know what happened.
The DA says releasing the videos now could taint a potential jury if the officers end up facing charges.
You cannot swing a skunk in front of a group of people and then ask them not to smell it.
The DA says the body cams show Brown's car moving towards the officers.
The next movement of the car is forward. It is in the direction of law enforcement and makes contact with law enforcement. It is then and only then that you hear shots.
Brown family attorney Wayne Kendall.
There was contact between the vehicle and the officers.
Which suggests that they may say that the car was a deadly weapon?
Which suggests that there's a possibility, yes.
The deputies who were serving the arrest warrant remain unnamed, but they did have a lawyer here at court yesterday representing their interests. The lawyer saying that the deputies themselves are distraught, but that they believe the shooting was justified.
Okay, and there you go.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube.
There you go on that video and that report. FBI raids Rudy Giuliani's home and office. Let's take a listen to that video from NBC News.
We went to Kohl's.com and I picked out 2 outfits for Savannah and she picked out 2 outfits for me. Feeling like a model.
New fallout this morning after those searches at Rudy Giuliani's office and Manhattan apartment. FBI agents escorted to Giuliani's home by his doorman, according to a person briefed on what happened. Multiple sources familiar with the investigation tell NBC News the agents seized Giuliani's electronic devices, phones, tablets, or computers. It's believed to be part of a long-running investigation into Giuliani's dealings with Ukraine.
I was given information about Ukrainian corruption.
Giuliani's attorney insists he did nothing wrong in a statement, saying in part the search warrants involve only one indication of an alleged incident of failure to register as a foreign agent, which, he says, Giuliani has denied. Giuliani's son, Andrew, speaking with us overnight after visiting with his father.
He's a tough guy. You know, when the mafia ends up putting a hit out on you and you've lived through September 11th, it almost like it doesn't faze him, you know, to be honest.
A person familiar with the investigation tells NBC News federal prosecutors had what they needed to get this warrant as far back as last year, but it was just a matter of timing, which suggests the Justice Department may have wanted to wait until the transition period between administrations ended before moving forward.
This is how cases, even big, important cases, move forward.
Giuliani, coming off a string of high-profile public moments, facing defamation lawsuits after pushing false conspiracy theories about the 2020 election, including in unusual press conferences.
I can't tell you exactly what's on the ballot.
And a controversial scene in the 2020 Borat sequel, showing some of his interaction with a 24-year-old actress portraying the main character's teenage daughter, pretending to be a TV reporter. Giuliani called it a complete fabrication and said he was never inappropriate.
So, Hallie, break it down for us. How significant is it that federal agents executed a search warrant? Like, what does that mean?
Yeah, it's a good question, Hoda. And legal experts that I talked to say it means prosecutors met a certain required legal standard, right? Probable cause to believe that a crime has been committed. So it is a significant step. It signals the investigation is ramping up. It is also, Hoda, a pretty extraordinary development for somebody who, remember, used to be a U.S. attorney, was the former mayor of New York City, in addition to his longtime relationship with former President Donald Trump. He's one of New York's most high-profile figures.
and now at the center of this high-profile investigation. Hoda?
All right, Hallie Jackson for us. Hallie, thank you.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Find your...
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. And we're going to switch gears now, and let's go into weather. And here's a look at the weather across the United States for this evening. In Boston, 47 degrees. New York City, 60 degrees. Washington, D.C., 58 degrees. Atlanta, 61 degrees. Jacksonville, Florida, 67 degrees. Tampa Bay, Florida, 71 degrees. And Miami, Florida, 76 degrees. Dallas, 64 degrees. Phoenix, 67 degrees. Los Angeles, 62 degrees. Las Vegas, 67 degrees. And San Francisco, 49 degrees. That is a look at your weather across the United States for this Thursday evening. And thank you for joining us for this Thursday evening edition of the Riley King Newscast right here on the Riley King Network. Have a great evening, everyone, and see you back here tomorrow with more news coverage. Good night and goodbye.